I've had a lot of weird jobs. I love doing comedy. It's my favorite. I'm honored that you guys are out here supporting this. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. Appreciate you. Oh, thank you guys. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. It's taken me a long time. Like I said, I'm 41. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life for a long time. I've tried a lot of things. I've started a t-shirt and hat company. You know, I've done door-to-door sales. I used to manage some rappers. Yeah. I don't know. I just fell into it. I didn't ask for it, you know. I had a friend that was a rapper. He's like, you want to be my manager? And I was like, sure, dude, whatever you do. That's cool. You know. Nobody you've ever heard of. They were local guys here in Dallas, you know. But we did get to do some big shows. We got to open for some really cool people. We opened for Juicy J once, Bone Thugs and Harmony. We opened for DMX. That was my favorite. Any DMX fans? Hell yeah. I was super excited for the DMX show. I got him a gig opening for DMX at Trees down there in Deep Ellum, and we were super excited. I'm a big DMX fan, you know. He was big when I was in high school. And like, a side note, I'll tell you, DMX, I was playing the Rough Riders album the first time I got to finger a girl, so it's deep in my heart, you know? Yeah. Another side note, maybe don't play the Rough Riders album the first time you get fingered, ladies. Yeah, it's too hilarious. I'm super excited for this show because I'm like, maybe I'll get to meet DMX, you know? Like, you know, he's known for beating up people on tour, just slapping people around, you know? So the day of the show, I'm super excited. I get there early to set up because we got our merch booth, so I go to the venue early. And like, I sit in my car when I get there because I'm like 3 hours early, and I smoke a big celebration blunt already. I'm smoking by myself. I'm happy. And then I get out of the car, and I'm starting to pull merch out of the trunk. And I thought they were just doing his warm-ups because they're barely opening the doors, and I can hear his music. And then I'm not thinking about it, you know, I'm pulling stuff out of the trunk, and then somebody starts yelling at me, and I look over to my left, and the only other person I see in the parking lot is DMX. He's out there, and he's yelling at me for some reason, right? And I was like, oh shit, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here. I'm not making this up, it's crazy. He comes up to me, he's yelling at me, and he's giving me all these orders, like telling me stuff he needs done like I work there. And I just let him yell at me for a minute because it's such a surreal moment. Plus, I'm really high, and I don't know if it's actually happening, you know, right? So I let him yell at me when he's done. I say, hey, man, I'm honored to meet you, but I actually don't work here. I manage one of your openers. I'm just here to set up early. And my DMX voice is bad, but he looks at me and goes, what, you ain't the boss? Motherfucker, you look like a boss. I was like, thank you, DMX. That's very sweet of you, right? Yeah. I can't make this next part up. Then he just gets in my car. Doesn't say anything, just turns my Honda into a Rough Rider right away, right? I didn't know what to do, so I get in, and I was like, shit, ride or die, motherfucker, let's go, hell yeah. I get in the car with him, and I'm sitting there, and he tells me he wants to smoke weed, and I was like, oh, I got you, dude, I'll roll you a blunt. And he goes, cool. So I start rolling him a blunt, and it felt like it took me an hour and a half to roll this blunt, right? And not because it did. I can roll a blunt pretty quick with one hand while I drive with my knee, you know? Yeah. If you're laughing, you're a cool motherfucker, because you can too. Hell yeah, dude. It felt like it took an eternity because while I roll this blunt, after DMX tells me he wants to smoke, he doesn't say another word. He sits in my Honda, he faces forward, and he just breathes like an angry pit bull for the whole time. Yeah, he just sat there. I was so scared, y'all. I get this blunt rolled, I toss it to him, he lights it up, he starts puffing on it, we're passing it back and forth. We get about halfway through, and we fogged the car up, you know, we were hotboxing, we had the windows up, and at one point, I can't see DMX, but I can still hear him just... I'm like, sounds like he's eating the blunt, what the fuck? We get halfway through the blunt. At that moment, these four of the tallest, most ratchet women I've ever seen in my life, they're all like 6'7". They come up to my car and they start rocking it back and forth. I'm like, dude, I'll ride or die, but I ain't fighting that shit. Hell no, dude. He's hitting the blunt, he looks at me, and the coolest moment I've ever experienced in my life, he hits the blunt and he looks at me and he goes, gotta feed the bitches, son. Dude, he gets out of my car I swear to God, he gets out, he tosses the blunt, opens the door, he gets out, he pulls a dog collar out of his pocket, he puts it around the tallest one, and he starts going, come on, bitches, come on, bitches. Dude, and I'm a big DMX fan. He died a few years ago, and I just like to imagine him up in heaven feeding all the bitches right now. Thank you guys, I'm Mikey B. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys so much.